Not only my immediate family, but my extended family. They would always come here and we would always have celebrations, spend holidays, and as you can see, it's also gone.
Alison, tell us about growing up in Altadena and the cultural significance, as I mentioned, it has as an historically Black middle-class neighborhood.
Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. You get to see people of color that are very successful, but also other races. There's many other races that are there. It's kind of a melting pot. Everyone is always willing to help, which we've seen this week. It's really like a small town right outside of kind of a big town. Like if you're from Altadena, you say you're from Altadena. You don't say you're from Pasadena. Like you want to make that distinguishment because it's just a great place to grow up, a great place to live, a lot of small businesses, a lot of culture, a lot of community, just helping each other succeed and grow this community to be what it was. And we will continue.
Yeah, and that was my next question. We were just showing some pictures of the Altadena Community Church burning.
Yes,
which
that's
is,
one block away from my mother's house.
Yeah, it's all so horrific, and it's gone now, just like so many other things in the area. You say moving forward, there are times like these when there's a catastrophe and some people just don't have it in them to rebuild, but the community you're describing isn't that.
No. Everyone's going to be strong. We have the support of people outside the community to lift us up and continue on and rebuild. We have to rebuild and keep our land. This is a historically Black area. It's a hodgepodge of all different races. Lots of generations live here. People don't really leave if you don't have to. So we have to rebuild. We have to make Altadena what it was, the beautiful Altadena. You see lots of license plates that say beautiful Altadena. We have to make it what it was.
It'll be beautiful.
Even better.
It'll be beautiful, yeah, and even better again. Alison, let me ask you one final question. With such a tight-knit community and so many people who have lost so much, how are you all coming together and helping those who maybe have lost everything as opposed to just losing some things?
Yeah, so luckily we're in a social media time, so there's been a lot of information, a lot of outreach. We have a GoFundMe. People are donating, so people are reaching out to me, classmates I haven't talked to in years, personal friends, and they're bringing stuff to me, donating to me so I can distribute to my family. Anything extra we have, we're distributing to other families and donation centers. So it's getting to a point where it's almost too much, but it's too much love that's out there that everyone is willing to give, the clothes in their closet, the food from their own houses to people that have nothing.
Yeah, if it's going to be too much love, people will take. Alison Carlisle,
Yes.
I can't thank you enough for taking the time to share your family's harrowing story and all it has lost over the past couple of weeks, and your community story with us. It's a beautiful story, and it will be beautiful again. Alison, thanks so much.
Thank you for your time.
Red flag warnings remain in effect for much of Southern California as LA prepares for more strong Santa Ana winds, if you can believe it, this coming week. Meteorologist Jeff Smith is tracking that for us. Jeff.
Phil, after the winds were really strong last night into early this morning, they're beginning to calm down a little bit into this evening. That's a problem in itself, though. And not only will they calm down, they'll be coming in from more of a westerly direction. That's going to spread smoke from the Palisades fire over a pretty wide swath here of the LA basin, making for unhealthy air quality for millions of people in Southern California. Don't be fooled, though, by these winds calming down this evening, because we're heading back into another Santa Ana wind event, back to business as usual during the next few days. Monday through Wednesday, we now have red flag warnings and fire weather watches for nearly 10 million people over Southern California, and these winds are really going to ramp up in a hurry starting tomorrow, but I think they peak out late tomorrow night into early Tuesday. We're talking about winds gusting 35 to 55 miles per hour, up to 70 miles per hour in some of the mountainous terrain. That can blow embers great distances, and that can start, of course, new fires. And why would it start new fires? Well, it's landing on surfaces that are really dry. Humidity is down at 10 to 15% through this period. And kind of exacerbating the whole thing, the fact that Los Angeles has only received 0.16 inches of rain since May. If you take that whole period of July through January, it's been the driest on record in the Los Angeles area. One piece of good news, though, Phil, by the end of the week, we're expecting humidity to come up a little bit and the winds, more importantly, to calm down, especially by the weekend. And that'll be a godsend for these firefighters. Phil?
No, absolutely, Jeff. Thanks so much. And as people wait for that to happen and continue to pick up the pieces, there, of course, is resilience. Communities are coming together to help one another. Allison just showed us that, even leaning on unlikely heroes. Our Will Gans takes a look at some of the uplifting stories rising from the ashes.
For a community that's lost so much,
what you see here is just my clothes. It's all I have.
unlikely heroes are stepping up to give the gift of hope.
Jack, come here.
Jack, an 11-year-old golden retriever, along with his human, Victor Laviaga, greeting displaced families at Southern California evacuation centers.
So many different kids just smiling because they had been there in that evacuation center for at least 24 hours so at that point.
Gina Sapanta and Mike Alder offering free hotel rooms to those who need one.
We have our businesses here, our homes here throughout the city, and also being lawyers. Yes, we help people with their legal needs, but it goes beyond that. We're private citizens, we're not a charity, and I think because of that, we're quickly able to mobilize.
Thanks to the couple, 167 families have a place to stay.
I was lucky enough that they picked me and my son.
As for their pets, the Pasadena Humane Society is currently housing more than 400 animals for families who didn't know if their temporary housing would be pet-friendly.
We're going to hold on to those animals for as long as it takes for them to figure out their next step. We're going to kind of pull on our volunteer resources, our foster families if necessary.
And as for those first responders,
So these firefighters coming off the line, they've been working for 20, 30 hours straight. So for one thing, they're tired. They are absolutely beat up.
Jack is waiting as they return to base camp from the fire line.
There was one firefighter, I mean, his face was dirty with soot. His hair was a mess. I mean, he came down on his knee to hug Jack around the neck. And then he started talking. And he started telling me what he experienced on the fire line. And that's one of the best therapies, honestly, for anybody that's gone through a critical incident. And I thought, oh God, thank you, Lord. We're making a difference, I think.
Jack and Victor are part of a nonprofit called First Responder Therapy Dogs, which dispatch dogs like Jack to disaster zones to help restore dopamine and serotonin to the first responders who so desperately need it. It's a mission near to Victor's heart. He was a firefighter for more than 30 years. So to give this gift of hope to his first responder family, it's huge for him. Phil?
Huge indeed. Beautiful story, Will. Thank you. And for more information on how to help those affected by this disaster, so many across the country want to reach out. The QR code on your screen can help you do that. In the meantime, coming up, a look at some of the headlines happening this coming week, including yet another high-stakes trial for Rudy Giuliani. Details just ahead.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know.
I love that.
Me too.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife.
Everybody loved her.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
We gave our hearts, our prayers.
We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IVs, tubing. It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God! Scamanda premieres January 30th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Here you leave today and enter
a world of galaxies.
A world of speed.
Other worlds.
For whatever you love, infinite worlds await.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene screaming across the state, and that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story. As news breaks live.
ABC News Live is there for you all morning live, right there, as events unfold across the day, breaking down the day's top stories. ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
There's never been a path to a national championship like this. And in the end, one team will have done something no team has ever done. The College Football Playoff National Championship. Monday, January 20th, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN.
David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, the most watched newscast in America, and honored with the Emmy Award, winner for Outstanding Live News Program. More Americans watch World News Tonight with David Muir than any other newscast.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first.
This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen. That's why it's called the what? The View. Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I am in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be here.
Wish you could show your kids the world? On a Disney Cruise Line vacation to Alaska, Europe, or the Caribbean this summer, you can. Let us help grant your summer vacation wishes today, because the time to show your kids the world is now.
Welcome back to ABC News Live Weekend, and thanks for streaming with us. You are looking at a beautiful day down in Miami with the palm trees and the beach. Must be nice. Hey, let's get you up to speed with what's happening this coming week. This is the rundown. Tomorrow, President Biden will deliver an address on foreign policy at the State Department on what he says is the work his administration has done to, quote, strengthen America and lead the world. The president is expected to talk about support for Ukraine, Israel, tensions with China and NATO alliances, among a slew of other issues. This, of course, will be his last foreign policy address as he enters his final week in office. On Thursday, Rudy Giuliani will face trial in New York over whether or not he must turn over his Florida condo and 3 World Series rings to 2 Georgia election workers who won a defamation lawsuit against him. Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Shay Moss, won the nearly $150 million judgment after the former New York City mayor accused them of voter fraud in the 2020 election. This upcoming trial coming on the heels of Giuliani being found in contempt twice in 1 week for repeating those false claims and failing to turn over evidence about his assets. On Wednesday, SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket is set to launch, carrying the Firefly Aerospace Blue Ghost lunar lander to the moon. Blue Ghost will spend 45 days in transit to the moon before landing on the lunar surface in early March, a mission meant to further our understanding of the moon's environment and help prepare for future human missions to the lunar surface. And then there's Tuesday, when the Beehive will be buzzing, with Beyonce expected to make a big announcement. This comes on the heels of her 2024 NFL Christmas Day halftime performance. Many are speculating she could announce a tour for her country album Cowboy Carter, or Act 3 of her Renaissance trilogy. Fans are just going to have to wait and see. Either way, it'll be exciting. Now you're up to date and have the rundown on what to expect in the week ahead. Now to the future of TikTok. A majority of Supreme Court justices appearing inclined to uphold the federal law that would ban the popular social media app here in the U.S. unless its China-based parent company sells it. The ruling likely coming in the next few days. ABC's business correspondent Alexis Christoforous has more.
It's not illegal to use the app, and it won't be a crime to have TikTok on your device if it is banned. As for what happens to the app itself, that's not entirely clear. Even TikTok's lawyer wasn't 100% sure. He told the Supreme Court he believed the app would go dark and disappear, which is what happened in 2020 when India banned the app. But tech experts say that may not be the case here. Apple and Google Play stores will no longer be able to carry the TikTok app, so you'll no longer be able to download it. If you do have the app, you won't be able to get software updates, and it will be illegal for internet hosting companies and data storage providers to service TikTok, or they'll face hefty fines. Now, over time,